Yes, it's true. Believe it or not, yours truly, the common investor, made a mistake. This has never happened. Of course, I'm kidding. I make mistakes all the time. However, this specific mistake is one I try very hard to avoid. It's one I really try to hone in on and not do. So let's just dive into it. So, Deere, not the most exciting company, but it was in a really interesting situation. It still kind of is. But specifically, they had an incredible boom from 2020 to 2021. Their stock nearly 3x'd in that time frame, very short time frame. But they didn't fall all the way in 2022. They hit, 300, which is a fall. But considering and comparing to other tech companies, plenty it really wasn't that substantial as a fall. But since 2021, when their earnings were just insane, they basically declined or went flat for a number of years. And this is kind of when I was starting to take notice, kind of that late 2023, early 2024. It was in that, 420 to, 340 range. And I was pretty confident. I thought Deere was undervalued. I thought maybe it was going to go flat for a year or two, but I was pretty confident in it increasing from that, specifically high 300s range. I thought it was a pretty strong buy, and also it had a decent dividend higher than this at this point. It was a little under 2%, maybe closer to that 1.7, but still, it was a really attractive company to me. Now, here's where the issue started. I formulated that, I was pretty confident in it, and I was starting to build up some money. Well, I put money into the market every 2 to 3 months. Some people do weekly, things like that. I personally do not. Nothing wrong with it. That's just how I do it. So I had a conversation with someone, and we have, just where I'm from, I'm trying not to get too specific, but there is Deere around. There's some stuff. There's some company stuff around here. So it's not uncommon to bring it up in conversation. I had a conversation with someone, and they're kind of strongly disagreeing, but I was like, okay, that's fine. Then I had a conversation with another person, someone who's pretty knowledgeable in stocks, like pretty substantially knowledgeable in stocks, and they also were kind of iffy on that. And then there was Matt, and then I kind of delayed it a month, and then there was some layoffs, and then I was just struggling to maintain the same confidence I had in the stock. But the issue was, I wasn't really doing it off of numbers. I was doing it off of emotions. This person thinks that. Well, I trust their opinion. This person thinks that. And you shouldn't just disregard people's opinions. But the issue was, what I was looking at was a company when their PE was like closer to 13, 14. In the current market, they were basically valued to go stagnant or shrink, kind of in that 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 PE. Now, in some markets, when the S&P 500 PE is closer to 17, that's not the valuation. But in the market, when the PE of the S&P 500 is closer to 30, a company value that was valued, 15, 16, 14 PE, you're basically have no expectations. Meaning, if you just even start growing slightly, you're going to do pretty well. And that's kind of what I was looking at. So specifically, when the stock price was in that 360 range, it was 360 for a number of months, 360 to 380. I originally thought, man, that's a great price. But then I talked myself out, and I was delaying, and I was delaying, and I was delaying. And now here we are today. Deere's sitting just under 500, and I'm sitting here with nothing to show for it now. I'm not just saying, oh, it was a stock I kind of liked, I decided not to buy it. There's plenty of those. I'm not going to beat myself up about those. But it was one I really liked, and I was like really, really considering buying it. And I just talked myself out of it for reasons that weren't the numbers and the actual sentiment. It was just worry. It was worry. It was worry that it wasn't a good enough price. It was worry that, oh, there's layoffs. There's worry. That's the issue. And the issue was, I was so confident, and nothing truly changed about the actual numbers. It was just, like I said, the sentiment around it. And that's the mental side of stocks, and that's so important. I've talked about it on this channel. I've tried to. Those videos don't get as good views, but it's reality, and I want to talk about it because I want those who watch me a lot, to get my perspective on a number of things, not just, oh yeah, this stock's good. The mental side of stocks is almost more important than anything else, because you can take something you truly believe in, and you can have 10 people that are just like, oh my gosh, look at this part of that, look at that, oh my god, you're never gonna, and you can just literally run to the hills for that, and you're gonna be, I would personally, you guys can do whatever you want, of course, your own decisions. I would rather have a hypothesis. I think the stock is going to go good. I think it's fairly cheap at 400. I'm going to buy it and be wrong and figure out why I'm wrong than to not take the shot that I believed in and then miss out. That's me personally, because I feel like I learn a lot more from losing money than from missing opportunity. Like deer, I could be like, oh, well, it's 500, whatever, move on. And that's important to do as well. You don't want to beat yourself up too much about it. But also, I want to take the time when I make a mistake that doesn't feel like a mistake. Nothing truly happened. I still have that capital in the stock market. It's probably done fairly well. But still, it's important to look back and be like, okay, this is what I did, this is where I messed up, whatever it may be. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate all of you for watching. That's all I really got in this video. I made a mistake. I'm going to make other mistakes, but this one specifically is probably one you have experienced or will experience. So it's important to factor it in to our process and decision making in the future. At least I personally feel that way. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.